What is up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Lovely Loners. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the WE Knives 612, and this knife is on loan from my friend Fong, who has lent a knife before. So thank you so much, Fong. I very much appreciate you sending your knives by so that I can check them out. Go ahead and check Fong out on Instagram. I will put his Instagram down below since YouTube got rid of annotations. Thanks, YouTube. So jumping right into the features and flaws on this one, right off the bat, it's absolutely massive. Let's go ahead and get a size comparison with the PM2. You know, the Paramilitary 2 is a pretty big knife to begin with, and you can see here that the 612 extends a good maybe quarter inch, between a quarter inch and a half an inch longer than the PM2. It's a little bit hard for me to tell from this angle. I guess I could have measured them, but you can see that it's definitely going to be a fair bit longer. And yeah, the PM2 is already a pretty big knife, so that definitely says a lot about the size. The blade on this one is hilarious, I guess, is the best word that I actually have. Let's be real, guys. It's pretty obnoxious. So you've got this recurve area here, followed by this really sort of steep, or not very steep, I guess, Tonto. It's just a really bizarre shape going on here. You've got kind of this bird beak style overall shape going on with the top here. You have this pretty neat top swedge, which gives the knife a super aggressive look. And then, of course, you have this black coating just in the flat section here and the swedge here, which leaves a little bit of a gap on the tip, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't know if I would have liked contact between the two black areas more or less. It's hard to say. I'm sure that's something that they messed with and tried. And I guess they decided that this was a little bit more aesthetically superior. But, like, I don't know, this area up here isn't chamfered, even though everything else is, and, like, the interior of the hole here is chamfered, but, like, not as much as it is on, say, the 606. I guess, actually, maybe it is, but it's just that the top of this isn't chamfered the way it is on the 606, or maybe it's just the fact that the interior of this hole is black and surrounded by the satin finish, as opposed to this being black and surrounded by black. It just makes it look a little bit different. So I suppose that's a bit of an optical illusion. But in my notes, I literally just wrote "blade is like dash LOL." It's just it's ridiculous. So no, is this going to make the absolute best EDC? Of course not. But if you're looking for something wild to set your collection apart and to really add something with a little bit of zest, this is definitely the blade shape that's going to do it for you. Now, I will say, it is an effective blade shape. It absolutely obliterated a box yesterday at work. It destroyed it. It's very sharp. It's very good for piercing. And, you know, it cuts great. But that's really where it ends on this one, guys. It's pretty... you can see for yourself. I don't really need to talk about it anymore, but it's a pretty crazy blade. Moving on, I will say that the exposed internal stop pin is kind of interesting. You know, it's not uncommon these days, but this is the first knife that I've come across that has the exposed internal stop pin, so it's kind of an interesting thing. It's kind of fun to watch. It's kind of cool to be able to get to see the internals, and then it's also kind of cool the stop pin kind of appears, you know, and then disappears, and so that's kind of neat. I will say that I know Fong's had this for a little bit. I don't know what his experience was with the knife out of the box, but sometimes when you disengage the lock bar, it's not really doing it right now. Sometimes when you disengage the lock bar, there's a little bit of a squeak. And I'm going to see if I can mimic it here. All right, well, I just felt it. So sometimes it is lock stick in terms of what it literally is, but it doesn't feel like normal lock stick. It's not sticky as so much as it something about the steel lock insert, it squeaks against the blade tang, and it's a squeak that you kind of like feel through the handle. You can't hear it a little bit, it's very faint, but it's only about 20% of the time that I actually get the squeak. The rest of the time there's no lock stick, no issue whatsoever, completely clean and smooth disengagement of the lock bar. So I don't know if it's due in part to like pushing the blade down before you've gotten the full lock bar disengagement, or what causes that. I just felt it again there when I disengaged the lock bar. So it's very rare, but it does happen, and I can't quite figure out why. Moving on, I really like the milled pattern on the knife. I think it's very pretty, and it provides great purchase. It makes the knife feel really good in the hand. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. Of course, I have this flipper tab to protect myself from sliding up on the knife, but I really like that this is both aesthetically pleasing and the fact that it provides a lot of purchase. One thing I will say is that the knife is a little bit loose in the detent. I don't know if I'll be able to. So you can see if I push a little bit, it does kind of push deeper into the knife. And so that's not good. That's definitely something that I would say is a quality issue on the knife. The fact that it's a little bit loose. So, sometimes if you pick it up real fast or you move it around, you can kind of feel that moving around a little bit. And so that doesn't feel super great. But again, I don't know how much Fong paid for this, but generally the WE knives now are $250 as opposed to their original $300 mark. And so, it's something I can get over. It's something that was on my Custom Knife Factory Sequoia, which was a much more expensive knife. So, I'm okay with that to an extent, but that is something to be aware of. And again, I'm not sure if that's just on this particular example of this model, or if that's an issue that we had on many of these. But, it is what it is. I will say that the clip has a little bit too much tension, and it is also met with the pattern, the milled pattern, is going to be under the clip. And so this one chews up my pants a lot. The knife's already a little bit on the big side, and so when I go to push it in, I definitely need two hands to get past the strong tension. There is enough distance to have your pants in there, but the milled pattern definitely just chews all the way in there. And so I will say that it could have been sweet if they had maybe done away with that milled pattern or smoothed it out a little bit more under the clip, because that's definitely an issue. The knife has an absolutely sick action. It's the WE knife action. I would say that the close on the knife is even better than a lot of WE knives that I've handled, and I really just think that's due to the weight of the blade. It's a big old blade. It's got a lot of... They really... Check this out. They really make a lot of use of the size of the handle. It actually isn't even doing the knife justice on video. It looks like a much longer distance than it actually is, and that's just because of the shadow. But it's right up there towards the tip, and so this knife will really drop closed very smoothly, just with a tiny shake. Not even a shake so much as just sort of gradually moving the hand is enough to trick gravity into pulling the blade into the knife. So it's incredibly smooth. It's got a super satisfying deployment. Let's see here. Let's test the detent. I'm just barely breaking the detent, and it's vertical. And we're still getting deployment, which is really fantastic. So again, WE knives, totally Value City. They've got fantastic actions, amazing construction. All of the internals of this entire frame is milled out, so the knife is actually really light. I don't have a scale available right now, but the knife is very light. So I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for something a little bit more interesting, a little bit crazy. Another thing is that I really like this area. I really like the ergonomics in general. The knife feels really good in the hand, and your thumb does a good job of falling right into this kind of curved section here. You've got the jimping up here, which works great for pinch grip and for saber grip. So overall, the knife is designed very well. It's just a little bit obnoxious, to say the least. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet on this one, guys. There's no story time because this is a lovely loner. Thank you so much to Fong for sending me the knife. If you guys would like to send knives or other EDC gear for an episode of Lovely Loners, just email me at tovarishworks@gmail.com. If you'd like to see other videos with amazing knives from friends or from my collection, like these knives that you see here, please subscribe. If you like this video, hit that like button. It definitely helps a lot. Follow me on Instagram at tovarishworks, and I will see you guys next time.